I clicked over, and it was the hospital in Delaware. And they were saying, "Hi, this is a nurse. I'm calling from intensive care. We have your son. He's not dead, but you need to come to the hospital. You and your loved ones need to come to the hospital immediately." Dashae's mom. Dashae wanted me to basically express how I felt the day that he was in his near fatal car accident, which was January 25th, on his blog. So I'll give you word by word and emotion by emotion, and hope you go on this journey with me. On January 25th, that was actually what was supposed to be happening that day. Was I was burying my childhood friend who died of cancer at 41. So I was preparing for her funeral that morning, and I had to speak at her funeral. And I was getting dressed and practicing in front of the mirror because I was really, really nervous about it. And I got a alert or a text or something through my phone, and it was from Instagram. And I checked my DM, and it was Dashae's line brother / best friend / my son, Karan, saying, "Mom, call me ASAP." So I called him, and when I called him, I was on the phone with him. He was saying something has happened to Dashae. And I'm just like, well, what are you talking about? I ain't got time for this, thinking it was, them being silly and doing whatever. My line had clicked. And I told him, I said, just hold on. So I clicked over, and it was the hospital in Delaware. And they were saying, "Hi, this is a nurse. I'm calling from intensive care. We have your son. He's not dead, but you need to come to the hospital. You and your loved ones need to come to the hospital immediately." So after I got off the phone with the nurse from intensive care, I just went into like a daze. A lot of stuff I can't remember, but I do recall calling Dashae's father and saying, "We need to go to the hospital. Something's happened to Dashae." And I don't even think his dad even comprehended what I was talking about, but he was at my house no less than about 10 minutes. And I remember the ride all the way to the hospital was so quiet, and I'm normally not quiet. I talk a lot, but he asked what's happened to Dashae, and I said they said a car accident, and I didn't want to give him the details because I needed him to get to the hospital and get there without being nervous or anything like that. And I just said, we just need to get there. So we got there. I remember running into some of the kids from Lincoln had already started coming to the hospital, but of course they wouldn't let them see Dashae. So they were already at the hospital. And Karan, I remember Karan the most because Karan has grown up with Dashae. Him saying how they won't let us see him. And I said, I'll let you guys know how he is, and I'll, just sit tight. We got upstairs to intensive care, and they let us back to the room, the area where he was. And I remember my heart just beating really fast. And it was like a sheet they had to pull back. And I remember his dad stopping and I think he grabbed the sheet to almost not fall or pass out maybe. And I just remember me walking up really close to him. And he was laying there with his head bandaged with a blood tube. It kind of looked like a light bulb, and it was filled with blood. Eyes shut, face extremely swollen. And I looked and I didn't see my 22-year-old son. I saw my baby, like my little boy. And I remember this feeling in my stomach. I felt sick. So the nurse told me someone was going to come and talk to us. Come and talk to us and tell us what happened. And basically, Dashay was on I-495. A car was going about 60 miles. Didn't see him because his car broke down, meaning he had no electricity in the car or anything, so he couldn't put on his flashes. And Dashay was sitting in the car waiting for a AAA or someone to come and get him in the middle of the highway. And a car came behind him doing about 60, didn't see him, and hit him. And at that point, his head had went either through the windshield or hit the windshield. And they had to helicopter him to Christiana. And that's where we were. They had already did one brain surgery because he had blood forming in his brain, and they had to do emergency surgery. They removed a part of his skull, and that's where we were. At that point, I came out and I talked to his friends, and by this time, I feel like all of Lincoln University was in that hospital. It was packed. Kids were everywhere. And I needed them to see Dashay because I felt like he had so much support and so much love. So, but in intensive care, you can't let all those people back. So I would, to keep my mind off of what was going on, I was bringing the kids by 2 back there to see him. And I had to keep always telling them you can't stay because they wanted to stay with him. His friends really helped me get through it, man. I don't even remember all of their names. I just really remember the ones that always would come home with him. But it was so many, man. And I felt so bad for all those babies because they're babies to me. They were so hurt over Shay. And they wouldn't leave the hospital. I wouldn't leave the hospital, and eventually security had to be called because they said it was too many kids and they was trying to cope. A lot of them had been drinking. A lot of them was trying to deal with what they saw. And eventually his dean came up, everybody from Lincoln. I forgot the name. He prayed with them. I forgot his name, but he prayed with the kids, and they brought food for the children. And it was just a lot of unity amongst Lincoln, and his neighborhood friends came. Everybody was there. My family, his dad's family, everybody. So Dashay had to have another surgery. He, within a couple of days, opened his eyes. He wasn't the same. But he was alert and he was with me. And we had a very long journey. He was eventually released to, what is the rehab? McGee rehab, where he had to learn how to walk and talk again, and comprehension and those type of things. And he just flourished. He flourished because my son's a survivor. And everybody was shocked that he popped back that quickly. He had to wear this helmet that he hated.
Run that back, turbo.
Yeah, 100 hoes at the hotel. I got her when I can't fail. New foreign, not the Chevelle. Yeah. I got my trip out of mail. This trip ain't going on sale. Bang about that on pale. Can't fuck with you, petty little bell. Me and my brother like Kenan and Kel. Send the rest of my niggas in jail. Now the smoke with that demon fish tail. Niggas hoes and they stolen reveal. Damn, I hope he don't tell. He silent, I'm paying his bill. Ain't no fiction, we keeping it real. I keep me a hammer, no nails. Moved out the condo, the Shoot it like one of the ops. Shoot it. Big Cody dissolving these pills. Gucci drip down to my socks. Gucci drip. Drove the Hellcat out of hell. When it's time, me gonna fuck.
I think he was in McGee no more than a month. And then he came home. And again, all his friends, family, my house was filled with Kappas. Everybody was there. It just was a wonderful thing. We are truly blessed. So much, I believe that God was with Dashe from the moment 1 o'clock in the morning when he got hit on the 25th, all the way to present day. My baby is a living testimony. And I was already, a Christian, but my faith got so much deeper because I'm still wondering how is he sitting here with us, how he's still striving to be what he was before the accident. Because the moment they put his partial skull back in, swelling went down, stitches removed, Dashe was ready to go back to school.
I get a girl where they trouble me, oh. She just dey bust my brain. She dey say she want my sugar cane. She dey twist my dread. Yeah, you sweet, yourself. Yeah, you turn me up. And I'm in the grace for your body. Sucking, so tell me what I've done to you. All I did is got to love for you. Tell me am I the one for you. Tell me am I the one for you. Tell me if I'm the one for you. Tell me am I the one.
I did not want him to go back to school because I wanted him here. I didn't want him on I-495 at all. But that's him. That's who he was. I want him at least like, can you go to Temple? Can you go to community? Can you stay here? I want him here. But when the insurance company had got in touch with me, they asked me did I need to come and get any belongings from the car. So I had to prepare myself to see what the car looked like after the accident. So I remember going to like a junkyard type place, and they took me to the car, and they had warned me like it's not much left, and there's still blood and everything there. So I went to the car, and it really was just a shell. Like it was like just like a shell of a car. And I remember seeing all the blood all over the seats, brain matter. But the one thing that stood, because it was a cold day, but the sun was shining, and I seen, Dashe always keeps his Kappa chain on the mirror, and that was hanging. And when he was younger, when he started going to Sunday school, his grandma gave him a Bible. And the Bible was sitting right in the middle of the console, and it was just flapping in the wind. And, I don't want to be all, it's weird or whatever, but those two things was the only thing that was left in the car. And his scully that he wore that night, that was there, his polo scully. And I grabbed it, and I pulled it close to me, and there was blood all over it. And those three things I hold dear. I still have those things. I was told to get rid of the scully, but I can't, because that's a sign of his survival. And the chain, I talked to all the noobs and was like, can I rock Dashe's chain? And they was like, Mom, whatever you want. So yeah, that Bible, the chain, and his scully, that was left in the car.
I don't care about how much pain I'm in. I don't care about nothing that nobody got to say. It's just I'm living my life as if I'm happy. That's the only way I'm going to live it.